Welcome back to the Sibling Group Chat. I'm Owen.
And I'm Cassidy.
And today we're back at it with the Odyssey review, episode 39. It seems like it to me.
Yep.
And we've been thinking, we noticed we've had some new listeners lately.
Welcome.
Welcome. We know specifically last week, YouTube, we had a lot of new listeners, so welcome. And we thank you for watching there on YouTube. And new listeners, anyway, we'd like to welcome you, but we also just kind of wanted to fill you in on what we're doing if you haven't been with us for very long or haven't watched very many of these. We're recapping one of our favorite audio dramas. We're doing reviews of the episodes of Adventures in Odyssey, and so we've just been going in order of release date, I guess.
Yes, air date order, which is slightly different than album order we are discovering. So, yeah. We
have some other various content sprinkled in throughout there that you can probably find, but our main stuff we've been doing is Adventures in Odyssey reviewing. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we thank you for joining, and we thought we'd fill you in a little bit.
Yeah, welcome to those of you who are new, and hello to those of you who have been here for a while. We're so glad you're here.
So, shall we get into it? Episode 39.
Yes. So this is the 44th episode of Adventures in Odyssey. Like you said, it sure seems like it to me. This originally aired on September 17th, 1988. This is a lost episode. We haven't had a lost episode in a while.
It's been a while.
I don't remember what the last one was.
I don't know.
Was there one in album 2?
Now that I remember, they're not all that memorable for us. This might be the best lost episode we've had.
Yeah. I don't know that there was one in album 2, so it's been a while. But anyway, in this episode, a girl with a reputation for exaggeration learns an important lesson when she tries to tell the truth about an outrageous situation. It's a hilarious and thoughtful look at the hazards of lying, and our themes are honesty and exaggerating.
Yes. And so this one connects to our last episode, which is not a lost episode. I don't even remember what it's called, but last week's episode. It's
called Back to School.
Back to School,
and
right.
if you haven't listened to it, this is one time where I'm like, you might want to go back and listen first.
Because one thing we talked about last week was how the theme of exaggeration seemed to be in the episode, but never really addressed.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what this episode does with the character of Leslie from last week's episode.
Yes. So Leslie is back. But we also have plot twist. Lucy?
Right. And I feel like we kind of skipped Chris's intro. Chris has a very interesting intro.
Yeah.
Talking to this guy who's the head of, I didn't catch the name of it.
No, I didn't write it down either.
But it's like the Legion of International Exaggerators or something like
whatever
that.
it is, the acronym is
spells lie.
Yeah.
And basically they're people who exaggerate things.
Yeah. The guy's name is Big Bill Braggart, and it's voiced by Phil Lawler, which is really funny.
And so basically Chris is going to say, we're going to listen to this episode so you can learn why exaggeration is bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
It's been a while since Chris has had an opener like this. We haven't had one in a while, so that was fun.
It has, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Leslie is at school, and I think pretty much right away Lucy is like calling her name down the hall.
I think so. Well, and when Chris leads us into the episode, she kind of recaps last week's a little bit, like says that Leslie had told the story about her crazy teacher, and she's now complaining about her teacher, Mr. Gut Wrench, as she calls him.
Yes. And we loved Mr. Gut Wrench last week.
Yeah.
His little part in last week's episode was probably my favorite part of that episode. As an episode I didn't really like. I actually like this episode better than last week's personally.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it just the newness of it?
I don't know. I just thought it was funnier.
Yeah.
Last week's I was just about ready to punch Leslie in the face.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
But so Lucy does not get Leslie's attention until she's right next to Leslie. And Leslie is startled, even though her name's been called all the way down the hall.
Yeah. She's like, you scared me out of my skin. Like, well, it sure seemed like it to me.
Classic phrase.
Over and over and over again.
Right. And so Leslie starts complaining to Lucy about Mr. Gut Wrench. And we find out now, in this episode, after last week, his real name is Mr. Garrison. And while you could probably assume that Gut Wrench was not his real last name, there was no indication that it was not his last name.
Yeah.
So his real teacher is Mr. Garrison, not Mr. Gut Wrench. Leslie has just come up with the name for him because she doesn't like him very much.
Yeah. And so she's telling Lucy about her teacher, and Lucy says her teacher's really nice. But do you really imagine Odyssey to be big enough that a middle school would need multiple classes per grade?
I didn't get the impression that they were necessarily in the same grade.
Oh, that could be. I feel like at this point in time, every kid is the
also,
same
I feel
age.
like you can't say that they're in middle school right now, or else Lucy's stuck in middle school for decades.
She is.
I feel like she's probably in elementary school at this point.
But also, the time with Lucy is not as long as it feels to us because we listen to those early albums so much.
I know. I still get the impression it's more like 5th and 6th grade, not middle school.
Sixth grade is middle school in
Mm,
most places.
I wouldn't say most.
A lot.
I'd say maybe half.
I feel like in Odyssey it is.
I don't get that impression.
I do, because there's so many of the kids that are in middle school. If you have any variation in them, you gotta have 3 years.
Maybe. But anyway,
That's neither here nor there, I guess.
Leslie is telling Lucy about her latest problem. They were in, I think it was geography?
Yeah, they were working on geography.
And she got in trouble because she didn't know the per capita something or other of Tanzania.
I don't know what it was. Some random stat.
It was like GDP or something, I don't know, but of Tanzania.
Yeah.
And she didn't know the answer. And so there was a problem there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about writing essays about the first 400 pages of War and Peace.
I don't know if it was because she didn't know or because she kind of talked back to the teacher. Just for that, the whole class had to do book reports on the first 400 pages of War and Peace, and they were due tomorrow, on top of all their calculus homework.
Yes, advanced calculus.
Yeah.
And if one decimal point was out of place, then it was going to be a problem.
Yeah. And just speaking as somebody who's taken pre-calculus, no teacher is going to take a point off for a decimal place being in the wrong spot.
If anything, they'll take like half a point off of that problem. They're like,
as long as you showed your work.
If you showed your work, you're going to be good. You're like, we see what you did. You're slightly off, but you still get most of your points.
Yeah.
And then as she's finishing her exaggeration, she bumps into Mr. Garrison / Gutwrench.
And Lucy has been questioning her this whole time.
Right.
Like,
Lucy
really
does not believe her. And Mr. Garrison, I think it's funny, he is still voiced by Will Wright.
Yeah.
But he's like a very geeky, like kind of.
It's more like Eugene.
Like a calm, nice
it's like,
guy.
It's like old Eugene almost.
Yeah, that's what I was going to like, almost like an older Eugene.
Yeah. Yeah, so he goes from Harlow Doyle to Eugene.
Aggressive Harlow Doyle to gentle Eugene.
Yeah.
Gentle old Eugene.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very nice. He like apologizes to her, and he's like concerned about all this homework she has. So she really does have War and Peace, which I thought was funny.
He's like, that was just a suggestion.
Yeah, I want to know what he had actually said about War and Peace.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's very clear from just the short interaction that Mr. Gutwrench or Mr. Garrison is nothing like how she describes Mr. Gutwrench.
Yeah.
And then after all that, Lucy asks Leslie if she wants to go to Wits End on their way home. Mm-hmm. Leslie says she can't because she's on restriction because she lost her mom's umbrella. But she doesn't just say simply she lost her mom's umbrella. Mm-hmm. She give a whole story about how last week she was borrowing her mom's umbrella because the other one is old and rusty.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the whole reason she was, this is a little off topic, but the whole reason she was borrowing her mom's umbrella is she was going to hang out with Lucy and Cindy and Anne. And Cindy and Anne make sense. But I guess at this point I didn't know something I'm going to know later. Not a spoiler for the audience, but I was like, why is she hanging out with Lucy? I thought we weren't allowed to have multiple friends.
Right.
But it does make a little more sense as we get into it. But at this point I was questioning.
Maybe she's matured in the last week.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
But she can't take the old umbrella, so she needs to take her mom's new umbrella. And Lucy has a nice little quip. She's like, "You're the only person I've ever met who needs to test drive an umbrella."
Yeah. Lucy has a lot of good one-liners in this one.
Yeah, and so the story is she lost the umbrella because a cowboy came up and asked her to borrow it.
Uh-huh.
And then Lucy's like, "Did he throw a lasso around you and take the umbrella?"
Yeah, was it before or after that Leslie said something and Lucy just goes, "What?"
Yeah. Like, what?
She's just so done this whole time.
Right. But anyway, the whole story is throughout Lucy's consternation about how far-fetched it is an umbrella came and stole a cowboy. No. The cowboy came and asked if he could borrow the umbrella. And he's like fully decked out, spurs and everything.
And he came in a purple
fire truck, a hook and ladder fire truck. And I think that was about it.
Yeah, I think so.
He needed the umbrella for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think she said.
No. And she gave it to him, and that's what happened. And Lucy's like, see you next week.
Yeah, she's like, this is why I don't believe you. Like, she's just like so done with Leslie and they get mad at each other.
And Leslie says something like, just remember that you don't ever believe me next time I call you my favorite cousin. And at this point, I was like, pause.
I think they said cousins at one time before that.
It was the first time they said cousins. I was like, hold on.
So yeah, Lucy and Leslie are cousins.
Lucy and Leslie are cousins.
These are like the only cousins in Odyssey, I feel like. Well, no, I think Alex and Jared are cousins.
They could be. I don't know.
There are later cousins. You don't often see cousins in Odyssey.
Yeah, that was unexpected to say the least.
Yeah, so I think it's after that, and then Lucy says something like, "You make the boy who cried wolf look like Mother Teresa."
Uh-huh. Yeah, Lucy is very much done with Leslie at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so they
and
part
then we
ways.
get the funny line of Leslie says, I hope you remember that you called me a liar the next time I say you're my favorite cousin. And it like storms off. And I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
And then Lucy goes, and also I have to remember I'm your only cousin.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, it's not as funny, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lucy arrives to Wit's End
mm-hmm.
in a bad mood because of Leslie's exaggeration.
But she walks up to the counter and Mr. Whittaker just like humming, singing.
Yeah. Okay, I have this note, a couple lines down, but I'm just going to point it out. Does Mr. Whittaker seem a little off to you, a little too jovial or something? Like, I don't know. Mr. Whittaker had too much coffee or something. Didn't seem I don't know why quite I'm normal.
I think he felt a little off, but I feel like he always feels off in these lost episodes just because we're not as familiar with them.
It could be.
So I don't know if he really is off or if it's just off to us because it's new. They are still establishing him as a character, but I feel like at this point he's pretty well established.
Yeah, it just didn't seem quite normal.
I don't know.
But anyway, she's telling him about Leslie's exaggeration. At a point, she says Leslie's on a newest tangent about a new story, and he says, "Oh no." I just always have to say, I always appreciate how Mr. Whittaker says, "Oh no," the exact same way, all the time.
How does he say it?
Like, "Oh no."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Every time, without fail, doesn't matter the episode. Yeah. If Mr. Whittaker says, "Oh no," he says it the same way.
Yeah, you're right.
Then Mr. Whittaker says something. He talks about how there are some pluses to having a good imagination, like Leslie's. Hers is probably getting her into trouble sometimes, but some people would probably wish they had an imagination like Leslie's. And this kind of reminds me, obviously, this episode came first, but I'd never heard it till today. It reminds me of Lawrence later on when he has problems with his imagination and people believing him because he's in a world of make-believe too often.
Yeah, and also it kind of makes me think of the Imagination Station with Digger Digwillow, again, talking about the gift of imagination. Mr. Whittaker's really big on imagination, hence the Imagination Station. But,
exactly.
Yeah. I also think it's funny, I think a little bit before this, Lucy's like, why can't I have a normal cousin like everybody else? And in this whole discussion, I think it's a little weird that they're saying, Leslie's just a little different. She's just a kid. Like, I wouldn't even say that she's different than most other people. She just has an exaggeration problem, but I wouldn't call her different because of it.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
But both Whit and Lucy kind of say that.
I didn't pick up on that.
I don't know.
But as they're talking, Leslie comes in, and I think Mr. Whittaker said something about Leslie cools off pretty fast, so that she probably won't be mad at Lucy next time she's in. Immediately, they realize Lucy won't have to wait long to find out because Leslie comes in, clearly still a little bit mad because she walks in, goes up to Lucy and says, "I accept your apology, you Beatrice Arnold."
He's like, Beatrice? Like, doesn't really look like a Benedict, does she?
That one was... I was like, what?
I might have to start using that.
You Beatrice Arnold.
There's someone else calls somebody a Benedict Arnold, I feel like later in Odyssey.
What's his name? Borealis Walton.
Yeah. But I think it's one of the kids.
Not that I can think of.
Donna calls somebody Benedict Jezebel.
Oh.
I think it's probably Jesse. Or Tracy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's in the TV episode. Because Jesse won't stop talking about the soap operas.
Oh.
And, like, she also doesn't help Donna hide the fact that she's been watching them. And then she calls her Benedict Jezebel.
Oh. Yeah. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Leslie comes in, and after she says that, she says she's off restriction because she's been ventilated.
Yeah. Mr. Whittaker's like, I think you mean, what's the word, venerated? Is that the correct word? You can't answer me.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, we're using lapel mics this time.
Yeah, someone remembered to bring them home from college on his second break.
Yeah, I don't think we've referenced that.
We haven't established this. Last week, you saw us, and we were in this exact same position, and that was over Thanksgiving break.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
I am now on Christmas break, and I am back, and I brought my lapel mics, which makes our setup much less hard to set up.
Yeah, and this is called batch recording, because we recorded a whole bunch and then we didn't have to record again until he came back.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know that you really cared about that. So anyway, Leslie's been ventilated.
Yes. And then she says that she has been ventilated or venerated or whatever because she just got finished talking to the cowboy.
Yeah.
And at this point, Lucy.
Do you think? Okay, before we get to that line, do you think? Like, how did she get off restriction? Did she say, "Mom, I promise I told the truth. Let me go get the cowboy and prove it to you"?
I'm not really sure.
And so why did she have to prove it to Mr. Whitaker to get off restriction, not her mom?
I think she wanted to prove it to Lucy more than Mr.
Well,
Whitaker.
yeah, but still, her mom would have to be involved to get her off restriction.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she got the cowboy to go talk to her mom, but then the whole thing that we find out later wouldn't make sense.
No, well, maybe she exaggerated to Lucy when she's telling her how long her restriction was.
That could be too. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. At this point,
she says she has just finished talking to the cowboy, and Lucy goes, "I'll have another tall one, please, Mr. Whitaker."
And I'm pretty sure she hadn't ordered a drink up to this point.
Well, she ends up with the root beer later on, so
Yeah.
maybe she had.
Yeah.
But clearly the timing is because she's waiting for another tall tale from Leslie.
Yeah.
And again, Lucy is just on a roll in this episode. Like, it seems very uncharacteristic of her, honestly.
But this is only her third episode.
It's true.
Was it at this point that, because we actually listened to this one together, which we've
Yeah.
never done before, but we did this time. At this one, I paused it and I said, "This is why Lucy hangs out with the boys." She's
Yeah.
done with the girl drama.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did also establish when we were paused at one point, we determined part of the reason, because Leslie is the same voice as Donna Barkley.
Mhm.
And last week we had kind of wondered why it wasn't just Donna, why they
Mhm.
decided to make it Leslie. And we determined that since they're cousins, it wouldn't have worked. But we didn't know that last week.
Yeah.
So.
And the whole cousin bit isn't really necessary.
No, it's not.
So you could have, if you really wanted it to be Donna, you could take out the whole cousin
Mhm.
part. There's a few funny lines regarding that. But
Right. Maybe getting back into it, Leslie tries to explain the whole story about. She says that the cowboy was in the purple fire truck because it was getting repainted, and they hadn't put the red paint on. They just put some primer that looks purple on.
Mhm.
And
Well, she does say who the cowboy is. As
the cowboy worked at a melodrama that was at like a carnival,
something like that. Yeah.
and the carnival's Ferris wheel had stopped working due to the storm.
Mhm.
It got struck by lightning. The generator
Yeah.
got struck by lightning, I think.
Yeah.
And so they were getting a fire truck to get the people who were stuck down, and they needed an umbrella in case it started raining, which still seems a little bit odd that he would just ask someone on the side of the road for an umbrella, and that she was just ready, like, sure.
You need it more than I do.
and that she couldn't, like, I get that if she, I don't know. It's hard to explain because of all the far-fetched things that happened in her story, but I don't know.
But
because
the
they
guy's
don't
name is
believe-
Jerry,
yeah.
also.
Yeah, Jerry
Haverman?
hold on, I have it in here.
I think it's Haverman.
Haverman, yeah.
Yep.
And Mr. Whitaker and Lucy really still do not believe her.
No.
And not.
Well, Mr. Whitaker is telling Lucy, like, this could be plausible.
Yeah, there's a couple things that he does know fit her story that
'cause he
are
knows
true.
about the carnival and stuff.
And the fire truck. He
Yeah.
knew that the fire truck was getting repainted.
Mhm.
And so Mr. Whitaker is starting to kind of believe her. And then Lucy still doesn't. So Leslie's like, well, I just so happen to have proof. And then she just walks out. And Mr. Whitaker's like, where are you going? He's like, to get my proof.
So she brings in Jerry, but she's just left outside of what's in this
Apparently.
whole time.
And Lucy's like, Mr. Whitaker, it's the cowboy.
They seem like such city kids. It's like, a cowboy.
Yeah, I mean, generally you don't see a cowboy like that just in the middle of town.
You
I mean,
could where we live.
It's true.
I wouldn't give it a second thought.
That's fair. I take that back.
Yeah. So we know Odyssey's not in South Dakota.
And
also Jerry is also voiced by Will Ryan.
Okay, that was my question. It was Will Ryan, right?
I believe so.
I was pretty sure it was initially, and then after he kept going, I was like,
I
but
think,
then, no, I had to find out. I was like, welcome to Will Ryan voices every side character in an episode.
yeah. Well, I feel like Walker Edmondson has done that some too.
Yeah, probably. I think it's just like if they happen to be there
Yeah.
that day, they're like, yeah, you're doing this guy and this guy and that guy.
He really did 3 because he did Mr. Gutwrench and Mr. Garrison
Yes.
because they're voiced differently, and Jerry.
Jerry Haverman.
Yeah.
So the cowboy comes in and he's explaining that Leslie's story is true.
Mhm.
And he keeps telling Mr. Whitaker that there's no
And no one drops his mic again.
there's no need for Leslie to be disowned because she was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And Mr. Whittaker the first time was like, what? But he keeps going. And then at the end of his story, he says something about it again. And Mr.
Like,
Whittaker's
please
like,
don't disown her.
He's like, why would I disown her? Like, what does that have to do with anything? He's like, Leslie told me if I didn't come and clear up her story, you were gonna disown her.
Her family.
Her family was gonna disown her, and was like, well, I couldn't disown her even if I wanted to because I'm not related to her.
It's like, you're not. He's like, no, I just own this establishment. And so then Jerry gets, well, before they even Lucy has already apologized to Leslie. Like, it resolves like it's gonna be all happy, and then you realize she exaggerated to Jerry to get him to come.
Right, and we find out he like took off of work to come down, and luckily Mr. Whittaker knows somebody at the carnival, so he's going to talk to Jerry's boss and
he'll be fine.
Cleared up. Yeah,
he knows everybody. It's fine.
Yeah, Mr. Whittaker is he can get anything done if he needs to.
He's got connections.
So now the problem becomes Leslie exaggerating again, not that she was telling the truth. And so after Jerry leaves, he's a little bit mad at Leslie still. After Jerry leaves, Leslie is talking to Mr. Whittaker, and she doesn't understand why it was a problem to use exaggeration to prove her story, because she was, in her eyes, she was proving that she had been telling the truth, but she had also lied to prove that she had told the truth.
Yeah, and Lucy has also gone at this point, and she said, Mr. Whittaker, I'm going to take my root beer upstairs. I don't like the company down here anymore. Which is fair, but I don't think kids at Wits End should be allowed to take their drinks upstairs. I've never thought that they did.
I don't know.
Could she not go to a separate booth? Could she just not even stand to look at Leslie?
I mean, I don't know. I did think about it. I didn't mention this earlier. Way back in the episode when Leslie told Lucy to walk home from school alone, I was like, no, she can't do that. She doesn't do that because of that one episode a while back. She doesn't like walking by herself. But anyway, that was a weird
if she
side
is
note.
Walking home, Leslie wouldn't be walking home the same way she does, because Jack and Lucy are the only ones who walk to school from their side of town. But Leslie rides the bus, so that's why she doesn't walk, I guess.
It's true. She rides with
Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddie.
Who's probably perfectly normal Edward, from what we know now.
Perfectly normal Edward. No, I like Crazy Eddie better. The number of times in the last 2 weeks since we recorded that episode that we've gone, okay, pal.
I was slowing down for the turn.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We should wrap up this episode.
Yeah.
Mr. Whittaker is explaining to Leslie how having a reputation of always exaggerating becomes a problem because people never know when to believe you.
Yeah.
And if something true happens that seems a little hard to believe, no one's going to believe her because they know she exaggerates all the time. And he explains that there's a fine line between exaggeration and lying, and trust is fragile. So if you exaggerate too much, people won't believe you. And then that's pretty much where the episode ends.
Well,
there's not really a resolution.
I thought it was going to end there, and I felt like that wrapped things up okay. But then Leslie goes upstairs and apologizes to Lucy. But that apology was so abrupt, I thought it was going to keep going after that. Like, I felt like either end after the counter or keep going after the apology. Ending on the apology didn't feel resolved to me.
Yeah, the whole episode didn't resolve all that well.
No, because when it ended, I was like, oh, we're done?
Yeah.
That was it? Okay.
Yeah, and then Chris Outros is basically just saying sometimes it's difficult to know where the line of exaggerating can be fun, but when you're exaggerating, it turns into lying. That's a problem. And she
people don't
close
know you're
the voice of let no unwholesome word come out of your mouth. And yeah, I guess that does it.
Bill comes back.
Bill comes back. He understands. He's going to try to stop exaggerating.
He promises to never, ever, 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 ever exaggerate
in a bajillion
years. Because old habits die hard.
Yes. So yeah, that about does it for that episode. I don't really know why. You have thoughts on why it was lost?
I just think they decided it wasn't necessary.
I don't think there's not a whole lot of episodes that you could say are necessary at this point.
I don't know. Maybe the story was a little too far-fetched. The relationship between Lucy and Leslie felt a bit off.
Overall, though, for a lost episode, it wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. If it had been left in, I don't think I would think anything of it. But again, I don't know if it's because we're not familiar with it, but it doesn't feel like it meshes with the rest of the show as well.
I'd agree. And I think some of that is recency bias, but at the same time, and maybe it's because we've got an order from there. When we've got to the new stuff, since the reset and on, when we've listened to that, it hasn't felt unnatural. But maybe that's because we've got to it in order.
Yeah.
So it was next chronologically.
Yeah.
Because this time we're coming back to episodes
that are
that
in the
we've
middle
listened
of
a long time ago and are
Yeah.
very familiar with, and then you're throwing a new one in between, and it doesn't feel as natural.
Yeah. So if you've heard this episode, let us know what you think. Do you think they should have kept it? Does it feel off to you? Do you have share your thoughts on the episode?
Please.
Yeah, we want to know. And if you're new here, say hi.
Yeah.
If you're not new here, say hi.
Yeah. But I guess that about does it
Yeah.
for this week. We'll be back next week for
Next week,
episode 40 of the Odyssey review.
Wow.
Fun times.
Yep. It is another lost episode. I think it's our last one for a little while, and it's called "What Are We Gonna Do About Halloween?"
A perfectly timed seasonal episode for Christmas.
Yep, coming out the week of Christmas. So we hope you do enjoy that.
Yeah. Guess that rounds it up. Thank you for watching and/or listening. Follow us wherever you get the podcast, and on Facebook or Instagram. And we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.